Hi, today I'm going to do some live posting. I'm going to work on a St. Patrick's Day wreath for my son's home to change out his Christmas wreath. I could do a Valentine's wreath, but I didn't think he'd particularly want one of those. I'm later going to make a spring front door wreath for a friend, and then I also want to do Easter wreaths. I believe I finished all of my Valentine's Day wreath. I made 4 out of the heart wreath forms. One I'm still waiting to finish. Excuse me, Lamba. My little helper is in the background. Anyway, so 3 I finished. And I finished one for my husband, which was with birds, and then the other 3 will be the photo frame ones. And I've decided, you know, even though I scored really good with the Dollar Tree wreath forms, I'm going to hang on to them. I might use some at Mother's Day if I decide to make one. But right now, I'm really ready for spring. And I would like to do a St. Patrick's Day wreath, the spring wreath, then Easter wreath, and maybe if I can find the mesh colors, I'll do a Mardi Gras themed wreath. I'm still not hep on that, but I would like to. I just like the colors and the decorations of Mardi Gras. But today I'm going to start on a St. Patrick's Day wreath. Hi, Patty. I'm not very good at this, so don't sit there and just laugh at me. And I'm going to use, I got this at Joann's when all of their clearance was on. And no, Patty, I haven't found any canvas bags yet. I was at Michael's and Dollar Tree and Pavilion today. Sorry. I ran into her the other day at Dollar Tree. So I'm using a, what is this, 12-inch working wreath form that I got on the Christmas clearance at Joann's. I don't know if you can see it or not. But at first I didn't like working with the wreath forms, the working ones. I thought it was kind of dumb. And now I see the advantage of it. So anyway, I got these all on sale for, they were 70% off. So that makes them 30%. So they were like $2.50. And for a working wreath, you cannot beat that. But anyway, I went ahead and cut my mesh because if you watched any of the other videos, I can't have out a soldering iron around anything that I treasure, adore, or use because I will burn it. I have a big burn spot in my laptop, so if anybody tries to take my laptop, I can definitely identify it. And my coffee cup, I tried to let all the coffee out by burning a big hole in it. But it didn't go all the way through, luckily, because spilling coffee is a sin. I'm sure it is. So anyway, I went ahead and cut the mesh. What I used was green mesh that I got at Joann's. This I got from Joann's that was on sale. And I don't remember what the cost was. $3, which is really good. Oh, you're welcome, hon. I'm glad you found some because, trust me, I went to Michael's today, but I don't know. I don't go there very often, but I was out. I've been looking for a thing called a zip snip so that I can put away the solder iron so I don't burn anything. And I watch a lot of Carmen Catherine does wreaths. I watch a lot of her, and I watch a lot of Lori on Hardworking Moms. But Carmen uses this zip snip, or there's a skill one that is like that. Some people call them electric scissors, but these are more like rotary cutters, and you can cut anywhere from 1 to 15 pieces of mesh at a time. So it saves you a lot of work and energy. But I went to she got hers at Home Depot, so I went to Home Depot, and they thought I was a nut. And we looked, and they are all out of stock it's an online item, of course, so they're all out of stock online. So then I went, because they run around $35, so then I went to Amazon, and I thought it was a Prime deal, but it's not, and it was $55. So I thought, well, You know, $55 if it was Prime and I didn't have to pay shipping, that might work out the same if they're shipping on these others. But I tend to ship to store and pick up because it's cheaper. So I came home and, well, after a trip to Michael's and Dollar Tree in Pavilion, I came home and looked online. And they are out of stock everywhere, including the manufacturer website. I think they're Walks, and I can't think of the name of them. They also have, there's a skill version, which is a cutter and a screwdriver, but the snip zip is a handheld, it's flat, where the skill is more of like an electronic, because it's a screwdriver and a cutting tool, and it's more like a gun. So I think it would be easier on my hand, and they have protection blades, so I won't be able to cut myself. So that was a big highlight. So I have emails out there saying, well, when they come in, send me a notification, but you can't find them anywhere. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to work on the wreath. I used the green from Joann's that I got. And I just cut 8 pieces because I watched a technique on Hardworking Moms, and what she did was she cut her mesh longer. Therefore, she didn't have to, usually you cut like a 10-inch mesh into like a 10-inch piece, and then you ruffle them together and you put 2 or 3 together in the working form, and that's what creates your poo. She used the 10-inch mesh in a 30-inch piece, which made a very beautiful ruffle. But I don't want this one to be quite that big, because I'm going to probably might hang it on Sean's front door, or I may go around the light again, depending on what I do with the wreath after how I decorate it. But I'm only doing 20 inches long. Then I've had a heck of a time finding white. Let me pause for just one moment here. Oh, I don't know how. Oh, well, Mike just came back in, so I was going to let him know that. Thank you. He had to go out, and unfortunately we're having some toilet issues, so he had to go out and get us some liquid plumber. Anyway, the white I can't find in the 10-inch rolls, so I have to use a 21-inch roll. And what I do with this, I cut this one, it's 20 inches wide, wide. And then with the 20-inch roll, then you have to cut them in half. So I think I did pretty good because I didn't burn anything, and I did end up cutting myself 8 of each, white and green. And I just really haven't decided yet. Sorry, the weather came on the news. I had to see if we were getting warm weather tomorrow. Today was gorgeous, wasn't it, Patty? It was just so warm. And it was only 40. It felt like it was a heat wave. And I was hoping it would be that way again. Because these wreaths do need to be kryloned or sealed. They should be, especially if you're using them outside. And you should probably put a UV protectant on it so they hold their color. But my son won't care, so I'm just going to do it. But anyway, I'm going to set my wreath form here, very small work area. And you take I'm going to put you down here now so you can see what I'm doing, maybe. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to see how this looks, because if it doesn't look right, I'll cut it apart and start it again. Start it all over. And you take and you lay it out, and you want to try to find kind of where the center is. And then I just follow one of these lines. Oh, I think I did say that. Like I said, Lori used a 30-inch piece. I'm only using a 20 because I don't want that much poof if it's hung on a front door between the door and the screen. So anyway, I'm going to kind of line my mesh up, and you just spread your fingers out and skillfully ruffle up your mesh. Try to keep it even going across so it looks semi-even. I have a little trouble with this because my fingers don't always like to cooperate. And I set, Sean and I talked about wreaths for his door and Ricky's door. And I sat all night. I laid in bed just thinking about the different wreaths. Isn't that hilarious? It was on my mind all night long. I made wreaths in my sleep. So anyway, you get your mesh. You go, I'm going to start on the bottom. Knocked one off. Have to keep my eye on that or Lambo will take it away. And you put it down into your form. I was going to use a white one, and then I thought, no, I think I'll save the white working rings I got and use those for Easter. So anyway, you just pull it tight and wrap it once, and I'm only wrapping it once right now because I'm not totally sure where I'm going with this wreath, if that makes any sense at all. And then you just want to poof it out. And I have to see how I like this because I've never done this style before. Then there's 7 of these ties on the bottom and 6 of them on the top. So that the top won't be the problem. The problem will be, what am I going to do with the bottom for color-wise? But I might have to put a green and put a white in the same one, or I might add myself, I might squish a pipe cleaner in and put so it's even. So anyway, next I think what we'll do is we'll do a white one. And I've been trying to think about it, and the reason I cut the mesh the way I did is I might do the whole top green. I just don't know yet. I know that's kind of a crazy thing to say, because maybe you should have a plan when you start, but I don't know. Sometimes I just let the inspiration hit me, and then I go from there. I did get some really nice stuff at the Pavilion Dollar Tree today for decorations for both, well, for St. Patrick's Day and Mardi Gras and Easter, and I probably already said that once. I get forgetful. You'll have to forgive me. I got the cute, I went to look for the plastic eggs because I was thinking, oh, Easter, plastic eggs, that's what I'll do. Yeah. But when I got there, they actually had some really cool bunny heads that are kind of 3D. They're not flat. And so I thought, you know what? I really like those bunny heads. So that's what I got. And then also, I picked up some hanging signs, I think for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, that had welcome on them. So I thought those were kind of neat. I just haven't decided yet what to do. See, Patty, you should do this with some of your other stuff, the little crafty things you do. People would probably like to see that. That's really interesting. Like, I really didn't know what a cry cut was. I really didn't. I know it's just crooked. I think I'll call it cry cut, just like I used to call an EOB an EOB, because I just kind of like that. What are you doing? Making sure she has her bone because I keep knocking deco mesh off, and Lamba thinks that deco mesh is the best toy that anyone's ever put together. She jumps in piles of it. She likes it when I cut to the end of a roll and I leave a little bit on the roll, the cardboard roll, and then I give it to her, and she thinks that's the best toy ever made. Just kind of like my grandson Ryder thinks that empty water bottles and boxes are better than any manufacturer toy. In fact, I told Melinda, I'm going to wrap an empty water bottle in a box and give it to him, because then he'll have fun with the package and with the toy inside. But I didn't. I bought him really cool stuff instead, because you have to spoil the grandbabies. Anyway, I'm just going to keep rolling this up. I didn't find any good. I have to get back over to Joann's. Or I like going to Hobby Lobby, but they're closed on Sundays. I need to go look for some good ribbon. I don't use a lot of ribbon yet. I haven't, I guess, got to that point. This is so hard to hold sometimes. It's kind of, especially when you've never worked with this much at one time. But she's right. It's a lot easier to cut. It takes a lot. I think, a lot less of your deco mesh. You just have to be a little bit, and another one falls. Just have to be a little bit more worky with it. The white is really kind of, it's white and silver. It's kind of see-through. So we'll see if I like it once I get it all put on. If I don't, I just take it all off and try again with something different. This is the first one, like I said, I've ever done with the mesh in this size. So we'll see how it works. I can't imagine right now with my fingers trying to do 30 inches of mesh. I'm thinking that would be like, well, it would be a comedy show. But there are some wonderful wreath makers out there right now. Like I said, especially I watch a lot of YouTube. And I do watch a lot of Carmen Catherine's wreaths. And like I said, Lori at Hardworking Moms. They do some really wonderful wreaths and have great tips and ideas. And I really like that. So since I'm just getting started, I'm now starting the bling is the thing, you know, with the signs and things. As I think it was Lori said, the mesh on the form is just your canvas. What you do with your canvas after that is what really can make the wreath. You know, you decide what you want to pop, you decide what style you want. I made a great big snowflake one that I love, and I made that with the petal type. My petals to like go all over the place. So I spent a lot of extra time on, I glued down the petals so that they're puffy, but yet they stay where they need to be. So I don't know if that's going to be enough fish for me. I'll just have to wait and see, I guess. And another thing that I did is when I made my Christmas wreath, I made a Florida-based one. Well, that was the theme at Melinda's work, and so I made one for her to take to. Actually, made 3 of them for her to take to work. 2 of them she gave away. The last one, which was the Florida-based one, which had the most what people would call glitter decoration on it. She brought it home, and after it rode around in her car for a little while, it was worse for the wear as far as the mesh. So we took off. There was a big parrot, and there were oranges and lemons. So we took all, and some poinsettias, because she's like, you were in Florida last year. How do they celebrate Christmas? I go, like they do in Nebraska. They just don't usually have snow. Although this year, I don't know, it's pretty cold down there, so they might be having snow. I really haven't heard. My in-laws have only been down there. I think they got there yesterday. And today was my mother-in-law's birthday. Happy birthday, Mary. And so I haven't heard yet what the weather is like down there or how cold it is or anything. I'm sure I will. But I know they probably are happy to be out in the Boston area because I guess they got some mounds of snow. In fact, let's see, this is Sunday. So was it Thursday? They even canceled the hockey game down at TD Ameritrade or TD Gardens, and because there was just too much snow. And that never happens usually. I don't even know that I've seen that happen since we've been watching the Bruins. And that's why I didn't get on here earlier, because there was a Bruins game, and when there's a Bruins game on, you don't record and make people be quiet. Trust me. So we didn't win. did get to go into overtime, so we did score a point, but Pittsburgh got us. And I guess that's okay, because that happens. But anyway. And the last time I was recording, I didn't put that one on. I didn't realize if I was making a video to post it later that if I pushed shut, like stop. Anyway, there's like 7 little videos, and I'm like, oh, that didn't work very well for me. So I actually now have a video camera with an SD card that I'm supposed to figure out how to work on. But I just haven't wanted to do that yet. Sean gave me that the other day. I was kind of hoping just for a webcam so I could have a different view, and I don't have to try to put the laptop here and position it. That way I have more workspace, because the laptop takes up quite a bit. I think this table is maybe 4 foot by 2 foot, if that, because I bought it for the trailer. And so you kind of have to, it's like living in a tiny. Yeah, gotta know where everything's going and where it's at, because you just don't have any extra room. But what's funny when you live in a tiny is that you can get more in a tiny than you think. When we moved out of the trailer this winter to stay here to help with my grandson and watch him, I thought, well, this should be a breeze. You know, there's more space in this downstairs that we have. Have a big living room. In fact, the living room might be the size of my trailer inside. And then we had a bedroom, and then we have a laundry room, which we made into a makeshift. It's got us a little oven in it, a microwave, and a burner. And I thought, oh, this should be a breeze. No, we had hidden more things and more areas in that trailer that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to put everything in here. It was quite funny. And, you know, I've never been probably the most perfect housekeeping person in the world, but as I get older, I get kind of, I don't know if you call it OCD, picky, but everything has a place and everything needs to be in it. I'm very picky about that. It's kind of like when Lambda decides she wants to take every toy we ever bought her out and scatter it from here to the garage. I have to get it all picked up because it drives me insane for it to be all over the floor. So, yes, I said your name. I guess she's not going to jump up here tonight and help us. She's too worried about what Mike's doing when he's trying to get our situation fixed. I don't know what's wrong with that thing. I probably need a new one in my life, or a plumber. Oh well, Mr. Plumber and a can will work first. We'll try that. I still have 2 more bathrooms upstairs that are usable, so. See, this is where my dilemma comes in, because we've been alternating the colors, and I get to this one, which is the last one. It's going to make 2 green together, so I have to think. And these are my thoughts, because I thought of this before, because the brain runs all the time. Maybe I leave it like this. Let's see here. So sorry. Maybe I leave it like this with the alternating, except for these 2 at the top. And this will be my top. And if I put a bow or part of the decoration up here, it won't be as noticeable that I don't have at the same amount. So I think for now we'll just leave it at that. So now after you finish getting your ruffles put on your bottom row, there's 6 of them for the top row. I want to make sure I find them. Kind of get this long ribbon, these long ruffles I kind of get. So I think what I will do, and as you can see, my ruffles. Oops, I forgot to recenter you down on the thing. Got a fraggly here I want to cut off. That's the one thing about the solder iron. I don't have to fray like I do when I use a bisque cutter. So. But supposedly with this snip zip, the electronic cutter, I almost called it a toothbrush, cutter scissors, it cuts so nice that, and then you, of course, you want to Krylon seal it. Could you do me a favor and pick up everything I knocked off over there? Oh, okay. Thank you. Trying to make sure I had a handle on my mesh and where it went. So I think what I'll do on the top row, because I like green and I would make a total just green one, but I think I'll go ahead and alternate the colors up there for the most part. I was thinking I might go all green, but I think that I'm not very good at keeping this straight. Right. Hopefully that'll come with practice. But I think I'll go ahead and alternate the colors on the top also and just see what I come out with. Lamba. I don't know if you can see her. There's little Miss Lamba. She says, ah, Mom's got deco mesh on the couch. Where are you going? Come back. You don't need anything. No, those are rocks. You don't need those. And also, that's another thing I got today at the Dollar Tree. I got myself some rocks for my fabric. It works out great. I was just using the method of anything at hand. The TV remote, my iPhone, whatever was close. But today, I knew that Carmen had said her grandson had got her some during the spring. Hers, I think they have those on her at the Dollar Tree. Well, today I just happened to see rocks for St. Patrick's Day and for Valentine's Day. And I had picked out 4 St. Patrick's Day rocks because it's like I'm not using them for decoration or anything. We're going to hold my mesh. Even though they're like very handy. Oh, I loved it. It worked really well. This does fill your wreath up quite well, just using one piece in the sides. Just want to try to pull it out and form it as I go along. But anyway, so I picked out 4 that were Irish, and Mike said, I found some Valentine's Day ones, and I think he thought he scored brownie points because he got me one that says, I love you, and one that says, I don't see the other one. Oh, you are my sweetheart. So I think he thinks because he found those, he scored brownie points, which he kind of did, but we don't want him to know that too much, although he's just sitting across from me. I was trying to look at the weather because hopefully tomorrow it will be warm again, but I don't think it's going to be as warm as it was today. Because today went okay. Well, the can of Krylon sealer says 50 degrees. I might have cheated, though, and tried it at 40. There's no way last week I could have, because it was like minus, and it is definitely something I won't do in the house, and I'd rather do it all the way outside as opposed to in the garage. I guess if the door was open, I could do it in the garage, but I'd much rather just take the whole 9 yards outside because I wear a charcoal filtered mask, paint mask when I do it, because it's very toxic. I haven't got the UV coat yet, but what you normally do with these is you spray it a light coat of Krylon clear sealer, or basically clear paint on it lightly, because it'll discolor if you use it too much. And you have to do it before you put on, this is where I messed up before. You have to do it before you put on the decorations. It will discolor your ribbon, so I've been told, and your decorations, because I was going to spray them all, and then I'm like, well, nope, they're done. That's all that's happening. Sorry. This is the way they come. But, and I didn't spray any of the ones that I put out in front of his house for Christmas. I put 2 peppermint petal-shaped ones around his garage, and then one on his front door, and I was going to hang them out on these columns, but we couldn't figure out how to hang them because where he lives is such a wind tunnel. It really is. His back is worse than his front. It backs up to Tregaron Golf Course. And so I was making sure that, one, they didn't blow away and go to somebody else's house, because some of the flowers, I do his flower box also. And some of his flowers end up in the neighbor's yards. I don't know if they like that or not, and I don't intend for that to happen. I put floral foam in them, and I tied them down with zip ties, and I push them in there really far, and I try real hard, but sometimes with that wind, it just has a mind of its own. So I don't know, but I really would like, before I finish it, I'd like to spray it if tomorrow's going to be warm enough, because it helps them hold up. But, as I said, you can always take them apart, throw away the bad parts, keep the good parts, move right on and use that wreath again, which is why this one looks like this. I've made it a red working wreath form. You can see the little, we took everything off. And the reason these are still here is because when I put the pipe cleaners on to make the wreath form, or the working form, I like to use a little hot glue on them to hold them so that my ruffles and whatever I decide to do doesn't spin around or move around them. So I just put on my, part of my preparation is to put on the not zip ties, pipe cleaners, or as some people call them, and they call them at the store, Chanel stems. When I was growing up, they were pipe cleaners. Of course, Chanel stems are a little different. They're thicker and a lot fuzzier, so maybe that's the point. I just use the pipe cleaners. I get them at the Dollar Tree. Try to color coordinate them with my project. But then you don't have to, as you can see. You just stick it in here, take it and go. By the time I'm done, though, when I decide when I'm finally going to finish, what I will do is I will move those and tuck their ends so that they aren't sticking up and showing. Now, a lot of people take those, and every time they add something to it, they will untie it. That's why you only tie it down once. And it just depends on what I'm putting on. If I was going to put ribbon on this, if I decide to put ribbon on this, I would just tie it on again. And then when I take them to the back, if there's enough of it left, I will tie it in the back also for extra stability and holding them. I think this is coming up pretty good. Definitely different than I've done before. Because usually I would cut it a 10 by 10, and then what I would do would be to scrunch 2 to 3 up and put them on the ring, the form, which gives you more of a fill, but it's not quite as poofy. This is pretty poofy. I'm glad I didn't cut it in 30 inches, so I think that would have been too big. I have the fear of the front door squishing it between it and the screen. Although the ones that I made him at Christmas fit right in there. I was kind of amazed, to tell you the truth. I can't wait to go back over. I haven't been over yet to take down the ones out there. I need to do that. That's why I thought I'd get this one ready. And because the candy cane ones, I'm very interested in seeing how they held up, because they weren't sprayed or anything. They were just put on the form and over there, and we put them around the lights on each side of his garage because we couldn't figure out how else to hang them. So we put them over the light fixtures of by the garage on each side, and then zip tied them tight to that. But we didn't have enough to like do the top and the bottom, so they swayed back. Let's see, I can't get my hands where I'm swayed back and forth, especially on windy days. You can tell. A couple of times I went over there, and what I did is I kind of fluffed them up and moved them around and stuff, but I'm not real worried about it. Like I said, if they didn't survive, I will just take the mesh off. And big forms, I have to stay away from the big forms because even on a 10-inch form, I can make a wreath that is humongous. But like the snowflake, I think I used an 18-inch form, and I don't know if you've all seen it, but yeah, that is definitely one that probably cannot be shipped. It would have to more than likely be sold at a craft sale, craft fair, or yard sale, garage sale, because I'm not even sure they make a box that it would fit in. I had all intentions. I'm getting myself confused. I had all good intentions of putting it out. My mother had a pine wreath when she was living, and for Christmas, and poor thing has been hanging on by my garage forever. I never take it down. This year I went out, took the old ribbon off of it, and a few of the old decorations that were really getting bad, and I put new things on it. A new ribbon, and we went with the musical theme, the music notes, the trumpets, gold trumpets, musical notes, and French horns. And I hung it back out there, and it looks so much nicer. So, but I don't want to get rid of the wreath. It has a lot of sentimental value to me. Let's see. So in September, she will have been gone for 16 years. I cannot believe it has been that long. It seems like just yesterday. And my dad, of course, went 4 years before her. That's 20 years. Wow. Amazing. Old. Yeah. And I'm getting old, I know. But I don't have to have birthdays for 2 years because I told everybody I was 2 years older than I really was all last year. So I can skip 2 birthdays. However, I'm getting ready for those senior discounts. So some stores, some restaurants, I do get the senior discount. Not at Pizza Ranch. Got to be 65. But we get a military discount. Plus, I get pizza points, or I don't know. Plus, they have the best fried chicken. We love the fried chicken. I cannot. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it, Patty, because I'm just not. Now I got my computer all. I got to get that camera on. You know, I do have a degree. I worked really hard. I worked 30 years for it. I have a degree in management information systems. I've got a lot of computer training, Java. Well, when I started, when I started back in the day, you had DOS. You didn't have this thing called Windows. So luckily, though, I started back again, and they taught me Windows, which I thought was crazy because everything was done in a basic language. Or not basic, it was done in COBOL. COBOL was going to be the programming language for the rest of our lives. And then whoever, they came out with Windows, and now the world, technology changes so fast. You just, even if you're trained in it, you can't keep up with it. So you'd think I wouldn't be afraid of it or anything. However, you also they have that saying, old dogs can't learn new, or don't learn new tricks or whatever, and that it would definitely be me. In fact, I was going to do a web page, and I haven't done one now for several years. well, let's see, I finished my degree in 2008. So probably 2010, 2011. Gosh, that's been forever ago, huh? Seems like just yesterday. But anyway, I did do and keep up a few web pages for some friends and stuff and post on them. And I haven't done that, but I've always done web pages in HTML. I wanted it to do something. By golly, I programmed it in. So when I started this little project and was trying to figure out what to do, I was going to make a web page. I really was. And then, because this is really a hobby for me, the craft is kind of therapeutic. I like doing it. It makes me feel good. People seem to like them. That makes me feel good. So, you know, it's my happy stuff. But I was going to make a web page. Well, I didn't want to drag out the HTML books. Didn't feel like doing all that programming. I thought, okay, I'll use basically what they call a CAN system. I'll just get a website builder and go for it. No, I didn't quite understand it. Well, I didn't work very hard at it. It just kind of was like that. And then I saw what it would take me. After I built, I could get a free web builder. Hence the problem lies in paying for web space. And I had some ties at the time before when I was doing the web pages where I got a little bit of web space pretty cheap or free. And so I thought, well, maybe, well, no, that option isn't open to me anymore. I said, well, darn it. But something about when this is a hobby and not really a business, it's just like a craft, hobby craft. $500 a year to have a cute little web page to post pictures of your wreath on didn't make sense to me. So I talked to people and asked them what they did and how they do it and blah, blah, yada, yada. And a lot of people use Facebook. And they said, you know, that'd be perfect. So I don't want to get where I have to make the wreaths and I have to make them by a certain time. And I really haven't figured out the shipping portion yet. I do know that they do not fit in if it fits, it ships box from the USPS. And then I'm also, because I have something I want to send out, not a wreath. And I have some stuff I want to send to Jenny. But I'm going to go check out what the option is through the UPS store and see how much it costs, because I know at one point you would take what you had and they would pack it for you. And when you're talking some of these wreaths, that might be the way to go. However, I've also watched some really fun people on YouTube that showed you how to pack them and how to pack them for their security so that they don't get opened up and they just are a mess. So that was real fun. I mean, I'm learning a lot of things as I go along. I probably started putting this out there in the public way before I was ready. But also I made 35 wreaths at Christmas and only gave 9 away. My bedroom looks like that's all I ever had to hang on walls. So, you know, I thought, well, I'll put it out there. And like I said, I want to try the craft show thing. I love craft shows. My problem is I love to shop at craft shows. So I'll have to train myself on that. And then, like, when we were down, and I don't know if they do products, but they do all kinds of things. When we were in Florida, every weekend we went because we were picking up, what was it? We got eggs. Usually every week we'd go and get eggs, farm eggs. And so we'd go to the farmer's market. Milk. And some people, yeah, sometimes we got milk, fresh milk, because milk there was like $4.50 a gallon, and fresh milk from the farm was $5 a gallon. So, you know, we were making kefir. We were living the good life, and we were having our probiotics and our woo. And so we had kefir. And to make kefir, which it's a silly thing, you take this fresh, unprocessed milk and you put your kefir greens in it, and it sits there for 24 to 48 hours. You basically spoil the milk and then drink it. Kind of a crazy situation, if you ask me. I don't like milk anyway, but you can flavor it with sweet drops, and that works. Okay, so I finished putting all the mesh I'm going to put on this wreath. Let's see if I can show it to you. This is what it looks like. It's, yeah, I've got to get that other camera out and get comfortable with it. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to wait until tomorrow before I decorate on it, because I want to see if I can krylon it at least one time, seal it one time. That helps with any fray that you might have. So before I put anything on it, I do want it to krylon it. But this is what I'm got so far for my St. Patrick's Day wreath. And then maybe I'll look at my different decorations and see if I can decide exactly what I want to do with those, because I got some really cool ones. But anyway, so I'm going to go now. It's almost bedtime. And if Patty, if you're still here, thanks for watching me. That was sweet. I appreciate it. So I'm going to go for now, and I will come back maybe, let's see, I'm trying to think of my schedule. But tomorrow, I don't think we have a week off of hockey, so that's good. Michael can watch Ryder while I film, so that's good. And I actually did some filming the other day while he was taking a nap, but I had to watch my Nest Cam, oh my goodness, on my iPad the whole time to make sure he was still sleeping. So I may be back tomorrow. If not, I'll see you again. Thanks. Bye, Patty. Nice to see you.